Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at noon.
Now at noon, we're hearing from a passenger as a flight heading to Florida had to make an emergency landing. Plus, the man accused of a brutal random attack on a 13-year-old in Daytona Beach was back in court. What we know. But first, we have breaking news. We are learning that Kissimmee police are investigating a possible bomb threat at a hospital. This is at the HCA Florida Osceola Hospital on West Oak Street. Kissimmee police so far say officers responded to a call related to a potential bomb threat and are securing the area. Here is a live look for you at the hospital. You can see some people standing outside right now. Police have not said anything else about the situation. We will let you know as soon as we learn more. New at noon, the man accused of a brutal random attack on a 13-year-old in Daytona Beach was back in court. Prosecutors are pushing for Jermaine Long to stay behind bars after records show police were called about him 3 times hours before the attack. News 6's Mark Lehman has details about what happened in court.
Today's hearing surrounded an incident allegedly involving a sledgehammer that happened the same day as the slashing attack. The state arguing Jermaine Long was too much a danger to the public to be set free, and the defense actually didn't object.
Jermaine Long going before a judge where prosecutors pushed to keep the 44-year-old behind bars in the first of 2 cases involving a violent attack.
You'd be in jail until trial, you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Long not fighting the motion, with his attorney saying jail is what makes sense at this time.
It's our belief that this was in his best interest to stipulate to the state's motion.
Records show Long had 3 run-ins with Daytona Beach police on Saturday. The first, he was trespassed from a location on Hollywood Avenue. 3.5 hours later, Long was accused of chasing and hitting a man with a sledgehammer. Instead of making an arrest, officers trespassed Long again. About 11 hours after that, police got the call Long randomly slashed a 13-year-old boy's throat near the slingshot ride.
Some crazy dude comes from behind me. And he tries to cut my throat.
Sullivan Clark recalling the moment he was attacked, while there are questions about the officer's initial actions.
I just think, gotta get those people off the streets,
Long was also released from jail just 4 days before Saturday's incidents. Both appear to be moving forward with a not guilty plea.
My client has indicated that he's innocent, and that's what we're going to believe. He's innocent.
From here, pretrial for the sledgehammer attack has been set for April, and Long is next due back in court on March 10th for an arraignment on the slashing attack. In Volusia County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Turning now to your forecast, Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is standing by, and that is a gorgeous shot behind you so far. A lot of sunshine today.
Yeah, a lot more after we started off the morning with some patchy fog. Downtown Orlando Skycam, though, really showing its colors, right? Plenty of sunshine, mix of sun and clouds overhead, and we're going to continue to warm things up. We are already at 80 degrees. That breeze coming in out of south-southwest naturally warms us up a little faster than more of like an East Coast breeze, right? So temperatures right now out the door, we're in those low 80s. If you're grabbing lunch outside, it is a little bit on the warmer side. You can see the current temperature in Titusville up to 86, but the heat is going to continue. It really is on over the next several days. Friday and Saturday, we will be flirting with near record highs. Could even be talking about the warmest days so far of the year on Saturday, which means we're almost feeling more like early May. But even though it's feeling like late spring at this point, winter is still looming as we are going to watch a big dig in that jet stream starting to send in another possibly last cold blast of the winter season. We're going to be pinpointing the ups and the downs in your full forecast coming up in just a couple minutes.
Candace, thank you. Let's take a live look now outside in Volusia County. Florida Highway Patrol says there is a fatal crash at West International Speedway Boulevard and LPGA Boulevard. That is just west of I-95. It appears the eastbound lanes of International Speedway Boulevard are closed. You can see troopers are there on scene. We've reached out to Florida Highway Patrol for more information on this crash, and we'll let you know when we learn more. Again, we're taking a live look outside in Volusia County. We just saw that. So let's move on to Brevard County now, where we're talking about another crash. A morning hit and run leaves a man dead. It happened around 5 on I-95 North near State Road 528. Florida Highway Patrol says a vehicle hit a pedestrian walking on the shoulder. The man died at the scene. FHP says the vehicle left after the crash, and troopers do not know who that driver is. Investigators say they don't know why the person was walking on the interstate. If you have any information, you're asked to call FHP or Crime Line. A flight headed to Florida was forced to make an emergency landing after what officials say was engine failure. The JetBlue flight flew out of Newark, New Jersey airport. A full ground stop has since been lifted at the Newark airport. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez has more on what happened.
The plane returned to the airport not long after takeoff because the cabin was filled with smoke. Here's what we know. The JetBlue flight left Newark for West Palm Beach around 5:45 Wednesday night. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey says the plane immediately turned around and went back to the airport because of an engine failure. JetBlue confirming this and that there was smoke inside of the cabin that has prompted the pilot to call for an evacuation. No injuries were reported, but passengers did have to get off on the tarmac using emergency landing slides. While the ground stop was in place, people on other planes had to stay in the air as crews worked to clear the runway.
Pilot told us that we would be flying for probably an extra 45 minutes in a race car track pattern and an oval pattern. He just said that the tire blew out on the track and that they had to clear all the debris so that no other planes were damaged when they landed.
JetBlue issued a statement saying safety is their top priority for both customers and crew. The FAA is investigating the incident. JetBlue says it will work closely with federal authorities to figure out what happened. Reporting in the newsroom, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
New at noon, Florida officials are giving us an update over dozens of dead fish at Newton Park along Lake Apopka in Winter Garden. We told you about this yesterday after a News 6 viewer reached out to us to investigate. Florida Fish and Wildlife tells us the tilapia fish died because of the recent cold weather. FWC also says it has received more than 450 reports of fish kills since February 1st. One man says he first noticed the problem during his daily walk and couldn't believe what he was seeing. He says he's concerned because even wildlife like ospreys, eagles, and alligators don't appear to be touching the fish.
And, you see little kids here. Kids come here, they ride their bikes. They'll come fishing with their parents. And when they walk along this area here and they see all these dead fish, that's not a happy sight for a child to see.
Fish kills can be reported to the FWC by phone or online, and we have that information in this story at clickorlando.com. Orlando police are asking for your help as officers try to track down the suspects behind a home invasion. So take a look. Police released video of 3 men they're trying to find. OPD says the men were all involved in an armed home invasion and robbery that took place back on February 4th. This was at an apartment complex on Cinder Lane Parkway. Here is one more look for you at those 3 men. A $1,000 reward is being offered for any information you might have. So if you know anything, call Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. In Marion County, a woman accused of moving out of state and abandoning her 3 dogs is in custody. 2 of those dogs are dead. Police in Georgia extradited Shantea Edwards this week. This case started in November after deputies responded to a home in Ocklawaha and found 2 dogs dead and a third named Olaf alive but locked in a cage. Detectives say Edwards went to Georgia for a job interview and never returned. She now faces 2 counts of aggravated animal cruelty and 3 counts of animal abandonment. British police arrested former Prince Andrew, King Charles's younger brother. Officers detained him on suspicion of misconduct in public office following the release of the latest Jeffrey Epstein files. Tina Krause is outside Buckingham Palace with the latest.
Police guarded the entrance to the royal estate in Norfolk, England, where officers arrested former Prince Andrew this morning.
To see those police cars arriving at the Sandringham estate is quite a moment. This is the King's brother.
Police say they detained the younger brother of King Charles on suspicion of misconduct in public office. It follows calls for an investigation into documents allegedly indicating Andrew shared confidential government information with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein during his decade as a British trade envoy.
There's been a feeling that police forces could no longer not look at this very seriously, and I think it has been moving in one direction.
Now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor after King Charles stripped him of his titles last year, he appeared in photographs on all fours over a female in the U.S. Justice Department's most recent release of Epstein files. He has always denied any wrongdoing in relation to the late disgraced financier.
I thought he'd go into hiding and get away with it. Yeah, so no, that's all I've got to say, really. I'm pleased.
King Charles responded to the arrest, writing in part, "Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter." The King's press team confirms Buckingham Palace was not given advance notice of Thursday's arrest, which comes on Andrew's 66th birthday.
The lack of accountability that the privileged, the wealthy, royalty, aristocracy that they have enjoyed in the past, I think we can see is really receding.
Continuing his duties, the king appeared at the opening of Fashion Week just hours after his brother's arrest. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
It is take two in a critical countdown test for NASA. Coming up, we'll show you what needs to go right before a historic crewed mission to the moon.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
It's a critical countdown for NASA's plans to return to the moon. I'm News 6's Mark Lehman, and on Thursday, the Artemis II rocket is going through a wet dress rehearsal. You can see the rocket on the pad here across the Indian River. Now, this is happening a couple weeks after a first run-through where there was hydrogen leaking during the fueling process. There's a problem NASA needs to overcome today if they want to push forward with the launch in a couple weeks.
It's take two for a critical run-through. NASA is counting down in the second wet dress rehearsal of Artemis II, and the focus is on preventing leaks in the fueling process.
They want to build confidence that they can actually launch the astronauts when they put them in their seats.
Ken Kramer is with SpaceUpClose.com and shared these images of the 322-foot rocket. He says it's critically important hydrogen doesn't leak past a 16% threshold, which is what halted Artemis II's first test earlier this month.
They have to be done to prove that the rocket's not leaking. That's the whole problem, because hydrogen is extremely flammable.
Hydrogen is also a difficult substance to deal with.
It's the number one element on the periodic table. It leaks through seals and gaskets very easily. And they're really having to wrestle with that. It's a tough problem.
CBS space consultant Bill Harwood tells us it's an issue NASA has been dealing with for decades and even pushed Artemis I to 7 wet dress rehearsals. Much more is on the line for this rocket, however, as 4 astronauts will be on board for the eventual launch on a trip around the moon.
They've replaced those seals, and I think they're hopeful that they're going to get through this test the second time around clear the way for launch.
If today's test remains on track, fueling of the rocket should happen over the course of several hours today. All of this is counting down towards a 4-hour launch simulation window that opens at 8:30 tonight. And if everything goes as planned, Artemis 2 could launch as early as March 6th. In Brevard County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
We have an update now to the breaking news we told you about at the top of this show. Police in Kissimmee have cleared the HCA Florida Osceola Hospital on West Oak Street. After responding to a potential bomb threat, operations are now returning to normal, and we've seen people heading back into the building in just the last few minutes. All right, turning to your forecast now, let's take a live look over Daytona Beach. Seeing a lot of sunshine out there on this very warm Thursday. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is here tracking some of the warmest temperatures we've seen in a while.
Gosh, with weather like this, Julie, the beach looks so enticing, and it's going to be fantastic if you want to enjoy the beach. If you're staying on the sand today, Friday and Saturday looks fantastic. We still have a high risk of rip currents, though, in place if you want to venture out into still very chilly waters this time of the year. But I do want to show you the latest update came down just a few hours ago. Latest drought monitor increasing our drought concerns. You can see now all of Marion, all of Flagler, the northern half of Volusia County, and the northern side there of Lake County under now an extreme drought. These numbers are the worst that we've seen this early in the season since about 2001. So it has been quite some time. And it looks like we're going to be tracking very closely. Now, that same cold front, though, while it's bringing very dry air, it's also going to be dropping down temperatures. So let's talk about the whiplash of weather we're anticipating over the next couple of days right now. Kissimmee Lakefront looks nice, nearing 80 degrees for you guys. We're already at 81 as we already looked there at Daytona Beach. Port Canaveral, the skies and the water look exactly the same. 79 degrees right now in Port Canaveral, and right over OIA, just those fair weather clouds keeping those temperatures in the low 80s. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Thursday.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
All right, along our beaches, we might be just a touch cooler just because we do have a bit of a sea breeze in place, but overall, area-wide, temperatures will still be well above average. Let's talk clouds and rain. It's going to get really warm on Saturday. Could be the warmest day of 2026 so far. But then on Sunday, we're going to be tracking a lot more cloud cover, moving in about 5 a.m. And you can see a couple scattered showers can't be ruled out. We're going to hold the rain coverage on Sunday at about a 40%, with the bulk of the clouds and the rain all pushing out by about the lunchtime hour. But notice we'll quickly go from orange to green to blue by Monday morning, where temperatures are expected to tumble. So this is quite a roller coaster ride. So today we're up to about 84. Tomorrow nearing records there in Orlando of 87. I think Saturday we will be probably the closest to records across many of our reporting stations there. The record to beat in Orlando, for instance, is 88, set back in 1989. Then the rain chances again bump up, and then we'll go from the red boxes above average to well below average here in the blue boxes. 62 degrees will be our high on Monday, staying in the 60s as well on Tuesday. But we talk about the coldest point is always that second night after a cold front. That's going to be early Tuesday morning where temperatures will tumble. So this is a snapshot as everyone heads to work and school Tuesday morning. We will be at freezing across our northwestern zones in the 30s up and down the I-4 corridor. Wind chill can make it feel a little colder, but you can see as we will be tracking not only freezing conditions possible across parts of northern Marion County, we can be dealing with more patchy frost area wide. So if you have plants that haven't died yet and they're still alive, you might want to take extra care for them because they have gone through it this winter season. Again, our best shot for rain won't be drought busting though, but that will be on Sunday.
Candace, thank you. Seafood lovers, federal agencies are issuing a recall alert for oysters. Coming up, which brands are affected and how it could make you sick. And coming up on News 6 at 6.
A woman buys a puppy from a website just days after picking up the dog. She says it died.
I did not get a healthy dog. I got a sick dog.
I'm News 6 investigator Erica Bergoglio. The woman says she received 2 documents, and I discovered both of them are possibly fraudulent. Coming up tonight, what happened after News 6 started asking questions.
Here's a live look over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera. You're watching News 6 at noon. We're coming right back. A recall alert this afternoon. Health experts are warning some raw oysters served in the state could make you sick. The FDA is warning restaurants and seafood markets, including right here in Florida, not to sell certain oysters linked to norovirus. The raw oysters come from Stellar Bay shellfish in Canada, include the Cushy, Chrome Point, Stellar Bay, and Stellar Bay Gold brands. They were harvested in British Columbia between December 22nd and February 4th, then shipped to at least 10 states. Daylight saving time has been a contentious issue for years now, though one federal lawmaker from Florida says he might have a solution. Florida Congressman William Stube filed the Daylight Act of 2026 bill, and it would fully repeal daylight saving time for the entire country. However, it would amend a law established in 1918. Instead of changing clocks twice a year, the proposal would permanently shift U.S. time zones forward 30 minutes ahead of today's standard time. The bill is our topic for today's poll. The question is, do you want year-round daylight saving time, standard time, or keep changing the clocks? So far, most people are choosing daylight saving at, looks like, 68%. Let us know what you think. Head to clickorlando.com to cast your vote.
All right. Look at this forecast. You've got a little bit of everything at this point. We're nearing record highs as early as tomorrow, by the way. Could be the warmest day of the year so far, up to 88 degrees on Saturday. We are tracking a new cold front. Looks like we could be dealing with a couple scattered showers early in the day on Sunday, and then temperatures just drop from there. Won't be as long and won't be as cold as our last big cold snap.
Yeah, we can take a few days.
I think so.
Thank you, Candace.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. Our next newscast is at 3, and you can always check clickorlando.com for any updates. Have a great day.